Will meets Electra, and Carter tells Steffi that he won't allow her to fire Hope. Hope is nuzzled by Carter in his loft, and she exclaims that last night was amazing. They embrace as he assures her that he will always be there for her, both in good times and bad. Hope says she doesn't want to leave Carter's embrace when she sits on his lap. Carter has to speak with Ridge, even though he doesn't want to. He is confident that he can convince him to bring her and her line back. Eric asks Steffi whether she is certain of this in the main office of Forrester. She claims that Hope and her line had to go because she had no other option. Eric wants to know whether Ridge agrees with this choice. When Brooke finds out, she won't be pleased. Ridge affirms that she has heard about it, and she is not pleased. Steffi is informed by Eric that Hope is family. Steffi accuses her husband of being a Forrester and claims that family does not treat her the way Hope's did. Eric says, "I hate this," and slaps something down on the desk. This shouldn't have happened. Instead of going after her husband, Hope has to find another man. At Brooke's house, she and Katie talk to Zend about Hope's termination, but Zend finds it hard to comprehend why they ended the call. According to Brooke, Steffi attacked Hope personally rather than as part of a business choice. Zend finds out that Hope and her line were removed from the corporation yesterday. "What's going on at Forrester?" he asks. Brooke laments that she has been exiled. Hope is being accused of something she didn't do by Steffi. B&B Brooke, Katie's End. Lainey and Tony discuss how attractive Will is while they watch him work in the design office while wearing earbuds. He teases them about becoming the executive after noticing them. Later, they invite him to Lainey's apartment after flirting with him. Electra enters and says she's sorry to have interrupted. Will presents the girls and informs them that Electra and Ivy are collaborating on the jewelry brand. "Don't we all have to start somewhere?" Lainey shrugs. More, will Brooke and Ridge split up? As they labor, Will and Electra continue to smile at one another. The other girls observe. Lainey then approaches Electra and apologizes for not recognizing her previously. Lainey reminds Will to visit her later when they are called away. She wants to speak without being interrupted. Will advises her to forget about Lainey when Electra teases him by saying she doesn't think Lainey likes her much, but adds, "She loves you though." He says she is very gorgeous and wants to get to know her. Zend has now heard the tale of Hope landing on top of Finn while wearing lingerie at Brooke's place. He understands why Steffi would make the snap judgment she did. Katie claims that she tripped and it was an accident. According to Brooke, her daughter had no intention of seducing Steffi's spouse. Zend laments the loss of his position as chief designer. "Is Ridge just going to let this happen?" he asks. Zend B&B Brooke. Eric continues to talk about Hope's long history with the organization in the main office. That's not the point of this, according to Steffi. Although Brooke will do it for her, she cannot simply allow her to make excuses. Eric informs his granddaughter that while she is perfectly entitled to protect her marriage and herself, it is improper to base business decisions on personal concerns. Ridge supports Steffi's choice. "It's personal," Eric reiterates. Steffi informs her grandfather that she forewarned Hope. She must now deal with the repercussions, and there is nothing anyone can do about it. He informs Hope that he must attempt to contact Ridge at Carter's loft. "I have to try everything before," she says, but before what? He encourages her to persevere without responding. Hope exclaims, "This isn't over." She talks about how it feels to have a man like him stand up for her. He takes another kiss for the road and swears to reach Ridge. More, will Thomas be back? Will shares the hope for the future line drama with Electra in the design office. As an intern, he decides he doesn't want to engage in gossip, so he asks her to give him Electra Forrester's story. As of right now, all he knows is that she has lovely eyes and a smile. She smiles and maintains that there isn't much to say about her. Will doesn't think so. He is aware that she is a Forrester. She questions whether he believes nepotism is the reason she was hired. Will informs her that his mother is the reason he works there. She is the type of lady that leaves an impression, and he can tell. She's definitely got him. Will elect her crew. Brooke, Katie, and Zend believe that Eric should be informed of Steffi's actions at their home. She wouldn't have done this to anyone other than Hope. Though she must set aside her feelings for Hope for the sake of the business, Zend adores his cousin. Hope has the most devoted followers someone could ask for. Hope enters and acknowledges that there will be criticism. She worries about the impact this is having on everyone, particularly Zend. She reveals that there might still be hope. Zend, Brooke, Hope, B&B. Ridge informs Steffi in the main office that he understands his father's response. He cares about Hope and has always supported Brooke. He also has feelings for Steffi. Brooke will walk over there and turn on the waterworks, and Steffi knows it. She understands. Although she is also a mother, she ought to have instilled in her daughter the value of respecting limits. Hope has often treated her disrespectfully. Carter shows up and claims to understand how it would appear, but that isn't the case. I hope I didn't offend you or your spouse. More, B&B singer denies rumor. Hope informs the gathering at Brooke's house that she had a conversation with Carter earlier. She has never seen him so resolute before, and he is going to see Ridge. He'll attempt to reach Ridge and persuade him to intervene on Steffi's behalf. Zend, Hope, B&B, Katie, Brooke. Carter informs Steffi in the main office that Hope didn't treat her or their marriage disrespectfully. He disapproves of her behavior toward Finn at Eric's. She regrets that, since it was incorrect. Steffi claims that she once more went too far with her spouse. She witnessed it firsthand. Carter claims he's attempting to prevent them from making a bad business decision, but Ridge moans that he knows he's trying to maintain harmony. The entryway to the younger population is Hope's line. Do they operate the business according to their own beliefs? Carter is cautioned by Steffi to exercise extreme caution. Does Ridge feel that way too? Carter asks. He loves to believe that his viewpoint is important. Steffi should put an end to this conflict between Forrester and Logan. It's absurd. She is unable to bring her own conflicts and sentiments into the boardroom. This demonstrates a serious lack of leadership and judgment. I will not allow you to harm her in this way. I will not permit it. Carter's discovery, Electra's confession, and Steffi gloats. Here are the spoilers for Monday, November 11th, 2024's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. Fans can anticipate Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, boasting about Hope Logan's, Annika Noel, dismissal in the upcoming episode. Emergence of the brave and the lovely. Carter Walton finds a way to solve his issue. In the meantime, Ivy Forrester hears Electra Forrester confess. Unfortunately, there is trouble on the horizon. Let's discuss what will happen in the upcoming episode of the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Finnegan gloats, Steffi Forrester, and the Bold and the Beautiful. According to B&B, a sneak peek reveals Steffi boasting about Hope's dismissal. Steffi speaks with Ridge Forrester alone following Carter's most recent altercation. Steffi informs her father in the CEO's office at Forrester Creations that HFTF and Hope are no more. It's the end of an era, Ridge says. B&B spoilers, Ridge Forrester must ultimately decide between Steffi and the Logans. Must read Carter Walton's finding at B&B. Carter will be furious about his conversation with Ridge. Carter was certain he could talk sense into Ridge's head. Carter discovered that Eric Forrester, Steffi, and Ridge are beginning to keep information from him. Carter says he shares their passion for Forrester creations. Carter's expansion pitch, however, had already been decided. Carter seemed to discover something useful in the weekly preview footage going ahead. Carter informs Hope that he has the solution while holding some documents. It seems to be something that Carter received from Ridge and Steffi. If that's the case, it might be a test or trap. Encouragement from Ivy Forrester for the brave and the beautiful. According to Monday, November 11th spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, a preview clip features Ivy conversing with Elektra. Ivy is informed about her emotions for Will Spencer by the newbie to Forrester Creations. Elektra is asked by Ivy if Will shares her sentiments. Will appears to do so, but there might be a serious issue. Must read, The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Brooke leans on Bill's shoulder, Taylor is available for Ridge? B&B. Before visiting Los Angeles, fans may want to read up on Elektra's past. According to the weekly teaser clip, Elektra's stalker has followed her to Los Angeles. Ivy is informed by Elektra that things with W. They are far superior than what she left behind. What precisely is the history of Elektra? Wouldn't it be amazing if Luna Nozawa ended up rescuing the day, and might Will find himself in serious danger? It's raining men for Hope Logan. In front of our eyes, Hope Logan transformed from a social outcast to the most eligible bachelorette in Los Angeles on The Bold and the Beautiful. But that title would probably cause problems for Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor. Is it possible for Carter to restrain Hope Logan before one of her former partners does? Spoilers ahead. Continue reading to see what happens next on Bold and Beautiful. Liam Spencer and Carter Walton, The Bold and the Beautiful, square off. Hope was acting like a lovesick schoolgirl and stalking Steffi Forrester's husband around only a few months ago. The beautiful and brave, it's pouring men for Hope Logan. The men are knocking on her front door in search of love after she somehow overcame the embarrassing kiss incident with Dr. John Finnegan. Sparks are flying between Hope and Carter Walton, according to B&B, who is determined to be her shining knight. However, Carter faces some surprising rivals. Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, has made the decision that he wants to get back together with his ex-wife and his family after a tumultuous divorce and poisonous co-parenting. Dollar Bill's kid is determined to show Hope that he is the right man for her and will stop at nothing to prove it. In reality, Carter Walton and Liam Spencer are buddies and have never had a falling out over women. That's probably because, up until now, Carter has never shown any interest in Steffi or Hope. It will be interesting to watch if Liam and Carter will act like adults in their new love triangle or if they will wind up fighting. Spoilers for B&B, will Thomas Forrester return? In other soap opera news, spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful have been indicating Thomas Forrester's impending return for some time. We're shocked he stayed gone for this long, given all of the drama at Forrester Creations with Hope for the future. Will Thomas realize he wants to be with Hope Logan once more after he gets back and finds out that Carter and Liam are fighting over her? As personal conflicts continue to influence the company's decision-making, The Bold and the Beautiful is preparing for a fierce confrontation at Forrester Creations. Hope Logan and Carter Walton have become closer recently, with Carter standing firmly against Steffi Forrester's recent choice to end Hope's line. Regardless of Steffi's personal problems, Carter is committed to ensuring that Hope stays because he loves her and feels she deserves it. He addresses Steffi and Ridge, stating unequivocally that he would not permit Hope to be unjustly fired on the basis of what he believes to be a false charge. In addition to strengthening his desire to retain Hope at Forrester Creations, Carter's involvement with her has complicated his relationships with other employees. A new member of the Forrester team, Electra Forrester, has taken notice of Will Spencer, and their developing relationship suggests a potential romantic subplot. As she and Ivy Forrester work on the jewelry line, Electra starts talking about her enigmatic background, which includes a possible stalker who followed her to Los Angeles. Will even dismisses Lainey, who obviously has love for him, in favor of pursuing a relationship with Electra, demonstrating his sincere interest in getting to know her. Brooke, Katie, and Zend are furious by Steffi's behavior at Brooke's house, because they think it was driven more by jealousy than by business. Brooke jumps to Hope's defense, pointing out that her daughter's accident, falling into Finn's arms, was entirely innocent. Concerned about the consequences for Forrester's brand and its devoted fan following, Zend feels caught off guard by his cousin Steffi's choice. They discover a glimmer of hope in Carter's resolve to negotiate with Ridge as they talk about ways to bring Hope back. As he highlights the irony of basing a business decision on personal matters, especially at a company that has frequently combined family and work matters, Carter's argument with Steffi intensifies. He maintains that Steffi's behaviors reflect poorly on her leadership and that she is endangering Forrester's reputation by combining her affections for Hope with her executive responsibilities. But Steffi is uncompromising, saying that she forewarned Hope against going for her husband and that Hope now has to deal with the fallout. Ridge finds himself divided between sympathizing with Eric's annoyance and feeling conflicted about Steffi's role as both his daughter and CEO. As he recalls Hope's long-standing contribution to Forrester, Eric himself is clearly troubled by the division this choice is creating in the family and the business. Carter's will to keep Hope safe gives both his work at Forrester Creations and his relationship with her a fascinating twist. Although they have just recently begun dating, Carter's loyalty suggests that he is prepared to challenge Forrester's most influential people for her. The situation is further compounded by the developing romance between Electra and Will. Electra confides in Ivy about her attraction to Will and her worries about a stalker from her past emerging. Since she is already experiencing the strain of working in the family business. Given that Electra makes clues about her past perhaps coming back to haunt her, Will's interest in her could put him in danger. Ivy tries to be encouraging, but she cautions Electra as well. Viewers can anticipate further conflicts and shifting allegiances in the next episodes. Steffi appears ready to celebrate Hope's exit, viewing it as a win for her in her ongoing conflict with Brooke's family as well as in the boardroom. Carter, however, is committed to reversing the situation by identifying a weakness or using insider knowledge to secure Hope's reinstatement. Ever the protective mother, Brooke is prepared to mobilize Forrester's supporters in opposition to Steffi's choice in an effort to influence Ridge and Eric. As the drama at Forrester Creations reaches a fever pitch, Carter Walton steps up as Hope Logan's fiercest ally, determined to protect her position at the company despite Steffi Forrester's ultimatum to terminate her and her line, Hope for the Future. Meanwhile, Ivy and Electra's conversation suggests that Electra's feelings for Will may be complicated by unresolved issues from her past, potentially setting up a suspenseful storyline involving her stalker. He and Hope find comfort in the middle of the mayhem during a very intimate encounter at Carter's loft. Hope is emotional, she clings to the promise of Carter's constant support and appreciates his devotion and passion, which she believes have given her stability and hope. Carter's dedication to Hope extends beyond her work. It is a promise to support her through her most trying times, in spite of the strong opposition he encounters. Hope acknowledges as they embrace that she could remain in Carter's arms indefinitely, but he knows he has to speak to Ridge about Steffi's choice. Given a fair shot, Carter is sure he can convince Ridge that this harsh action is unfair and, ideally, persuade him to reinstate Hope. She glows with appreciation when he assures her that he will do everything in his power for her, motivated by his readiness to jeopardize his job for her. In the meantime, Eric Forrester is attempting to understand Steffi's decision in his main office, challenging her conviction and the reasoning behind it. Uncompromising, Steffi says she had no choice but to fire Hope and her line from the company, seeing it as an essential measure to safeguard both the company's name and her own marriage. Disturbed, Eric asks Ridge whether he agrees with this choice, knowing that it will cause a ruckus in the family, particularly with Brooke, who will undoubtedly see it as a personal jab at her daughter. Ridge affirms that he is aware of the situation and admits that Brooke is angry, but he seems to be accepting of Steffi's choice, perhaps out of love for his daughter. Eric retaliates, telling Steffi that family doesn't turn on one another and that Hope is family even though she isn't a Forrester by blood. According to Eric, Hope has merited her position within the organization, and her personal problems shouldn't determine her future in the workplace. Steffi responds, however, that Hope went too far in her pursuit of her husband, Finn, and family, and that such behavior is unacceptable. Frustrated and heartbroken, Eric snaps, saying that Hope needs to find someone else to date than Steffi's husband and that this whole situation shouldn't have happened in the first place. His rage is a reflection of the suffering he has seen his family go through as a result of personal grievances that are being passed off as business decisions. In another scene, Brooke and Katie are discussing how to handle Hope's termination at her residence when they bring up Zend. Startled, Zend attempts to comprehend how Steffi could so readily throw Hope and her line out of the window. In line with Brooke's belief that Steffi has permitted personal matters to affect her behavior at work, he views Hope's termination as more of a personal grudge than a calculated move. Katie tells Zend that Steffi is deliberately trying to make Hope feel inferior, and that this goes beyond merely her position within the organization. Zend, a devoted designer who loved Hope's collection, finds it unbelievable that Steffi would act so hastily without thinking through the repercussions. As Brooke clarifies that Hope was not just kicked out of the firm but had been completely deleted from Forrester, his confusion only intensifies. Brooke vehemently defends her daughter's innocence and frames the decision as a personal grudge rather than a valid business move, insisting that Steffi is accusing Hope of something she didn't do. Back at Forrester, the design office is bustling as Will works via earbuds, attracting Lainey and Tony's attention with their whispers about his good looks. They playfully flirt with him, inviting him to Lainey's apartment later, after he teases them that he's preparing for the executive ranks when he sees them observing. Electra interrupts their pleasant conversation when she arrives to work with Ivy on a project. When Lainey and Tony are introduced to Electra by Will, Lainey dismissively remarks that everyone must start somewhere. Electra dismisses it, but she smiles at Will, who finds her charm and confidence endearing. Following the girls' departure, Will and Electra have a brief conversation during which she thanks him and acknowledges that she wasn't certain if Lainey liked her. Lainey may have her doubts about Electra, but she does like him, Will jokes, as he reassures her. Will's attention in Electra grows at that point, and he openly remarks on how beautiful she is, expressing his interest and fascination. Brooke, Katie, and Zend, meantime, talk about Steffi's accusations against Hope, including the lingerie-wearing episode in which Hope unintentionally landed on top of Finn, a misunderstanding that stoked Steffi's anger. As he considers the narrative, Zend acknowledges that he can see how Steffi would have made snap judgments. Brooke restates that Hope wasn't attempting to woo Steffi's husband, and Katie interrupts, emphasizing that it was a harmless accident. Zend, whose own position as lead designer has been impacted by the mayhem, is saddened by Steffi's choice and questions whether Ridge will actually allow it to occur. In an attempt to undermine Steffi's power, Brooke and Katie appear committed to enlisting Eric's help. Brooke insists that Eric should be aware of how Steffi's personal grudge has strained relationships within the family and jeopardized the company's future. Eric expresses his worries at the main office regarding Hope's long-standing contributions to Forrester Creations, but Steffi maintains that the issue is not with Hope's career achievements but rather with her flagrant disrespect for Steffi's marriage. Eric confronts her, assuring her that Brooke will definitely support her daughter and pointing out that Hope deserves an advocate. Steffi, however, maintains her position, contending that Hope went too far and now has to pay the price. Ridge supports Steffi's choice to preserve her marriage even if he can appreciate Eric's frustration. Eric, who views the choice as extremely personal, begs Steffi to keep her emotions apart from her executive duties, reminding her that making judgments about her business based on personal complaints compromises her leadership. Exasperated, Steffi insists that there is nothing anyone can do about it because Hope gave her no other option. Ridge acknowledges Steffi's challenging situation and discreetly mulls over his father's remarks while continuing to be supportive of her. Hope is reassured by Carter at his loft that he would keep standing up for her, even if it means going up against Steffi and Ridge. His encouragement moves Hope, giving her the impression that she has someone on her side who genuinely believes in her. Before leaving to talk to Ridge, Carter gives her one final kiss and reassures her that he won't quit up. Hope's spirit is strengthened by his loyalty, which gives her the drive to keep fighting. Will tells Elektra about the controversy around Hope's line at the design office, but he stops himself and decides he doesn't want to engage in gossip while still an intern. He suggests that he finds Elektra fascinating and changes the subject by asking her to tell him about herself. Amused, Elektra dismisses his praise, stating modestly that there isn't much to say. But Will thinks there might be more to her narrative. He is aware that she is a Forrester and questions whether the family's heritage puts any strain on her. Will, who also works at Forrester because of family ties, reassures Elektra, who is a little insecure and acknowledges that she is aware of the assumptions made about her. They become closer as a result of their shared understanding, and Will admits that he feels her presence has an influence. When Hope gets to Brooke's house, she finds Zend, Katie, and Brooke talking about what Steffi did. Hope, who has been carrying the burden of her predicament, worries about the effects of her termination on Zend and other people who depended on the success of her line. She does, however, express some hope when she says that Carter is committed to reversing Steffi's choice, which offers her newfound hope. Carter approaches Steffi and Ridge again in the main office, claiming that Hope never intended to offend Steffi or her marriage with her behavior. Carter denounces Steffi's decision to base a crucial business decision on personal issues, even if he acknowledges that the incident with Finn was inadvertent. He asks whether personal prejudices are now driving Forrester's strategy, and emphasizes how important hope for the future is to the company's relationship with younger customers. Sensing Carter's disobedience,